Heidi ho, my crafty friends. This is Lori at the Ladybug Journals. How are you today? I sure hope that you're doing well. Thank you for joining me here at our craft room. Today, I thought we would work on our Hey Diddle Diddle book. So when last I left you, we had put our spine on and it dried so nicely. So here it is. It dried under those books I told you about. And here's the front. We got to keep the moon and most of the dog. He's lost a little bit of his hind leg, but we got to keep the eye here of the moon. So that turned out nicely. So, as we get a little further into decorating our spine, I think I might even use some little ribbon like this. But, I really don't want to lose the moon. So I'm probably just going to use some lace on the front and the back. And, I don't see any drawing on the cover or anything like that. But before we get into any of that, I think I want to go on and put the book corners on it and let them be drying. So I'm going to grab those out of the drawer here. And then we're going to work on getting our signatures ready. But I want to show you how to put book corners on. And my chair got stuck. I'm so sorry. Let me grab my book corners here. I should have had them out, huh? Okay, so here's the book corners. And since we're not going to cover the inside with fabric or anything like that, well, you know what? We are going to add a pocket, though. We are going to add that fabric right here. So maybe we'll wait until we get this fabric put right here, since we do want to cover that. So let's go on and get that on there before we add those. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to take care of the difference in sizes of our pages. So let me grab our fabric here out of my stack. Okay, here's our fabric. Okay, now remember, we decided if the bird's going the right way, our fabric's going the right way. So unfortunately, let me make sure here. I'm standing right now because I want to make sure I can see in the camera. Okay, so I think we're going to put this right here. And unfortunately, we're going to cover up our little princess. But what will be, little lady. And it's going to go like this. Just like that. And then, and I'm thinking if I back it with something, it can be a side tuck. We can keep the rest of it, and it can be a little side tuck. And I see a little nick right there that I want to take care of. Let me grab my scissors. And let's see if we can get this cut straight. Oh, Lordy. Most people can cut straight. I can't cut straight to save my life. Okay, that'll work. So I have those junk mail flyers you get in the mail. I had one of those. That's not it. Where did it go? I had an old junk mail flyer I was going to use. Here it is. That I was going to use to back this with. But I want to make sure that it's not going to show through a little bit. So I think we're going to have to use a index card. The white side of an index card instead. To, give it a little bit of oomph. Since we're going to use it, as a tuck. So let's get some glue here. And I am going to use, I think we're going to go on and use our fabric tack on it. Let's move the book. And I've got our cereal bag right here. So let me mark how wide here I need to glue. And I think I want to put it on the cereal bag. On here. Let's mark in a couple places. And then I can just run the glue down and run it down like this. Maybe if there it goes. Now she's flowing. Okay, I hope you guys are having a super day and are enjoying this little series that we're doing. I love making these little books, and usually I use little golden books, but I just happened to see this, and the Hey Diddle Diddle rhymes, were always my favorite. I used to love Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat and the fiddle, that little nursery rhyme. And when my son was little, that was one of the ones we taught him. And so when he got me this little book for Mother's Day, I was so excited. Now, remember I told you when you use Fabri-Tac, you always want to take your finger and smush it out. That way it doesn't bleed through your fabric. And you're able to get it all the way to the ends. And you don't have to use your finger. You can use a card, like a credit card, a gift card, something like that. And then hold it on one end. Hold whatever your fabric you're putting down, fabric or lace. Hold it on one end so you can kind of keep it taut. And then just push so that you are sure that it's going into everything that you just smooshed. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Now we're going to let this sit for a couple minutes while I show you what we're going to do. Now I need to wipe my fingers off here. All right, I've got my paper towel. Okay, and we're going to wipe this off because we're going to be using this. And this seems to come out better if it's got a clean nozzle. Okay, we're going to put that right there. All righty then. Well, now I got paper towel over my fingers. Yuck. Okay, so we're just going to let this dry before we mess with it. It's right there in front of me. All right, so I'm going to sit down now. Okay, so I've been pondering and pondering our situation here with our book pages. Because if you'll remember, okay, we don't need our book corners until that dries. And then we're going to cut it out and get it on. So I've been pondering and pondering, what are we going to do about the difference in sizes? So I started thinking, I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take advantage of them, and we're going to make some flip outs. We're going to add some lace, some ribbon, and we're going to add some flip outs. How fun is that going to be in this little book? This little children's book that's all about nursery rhymes and fun. We're going to make it even more fun. So what I did was I took, remember the page I said is going to be the front of the signature? Changed my mind. I brought it into the center, and here's the doily that was going to be around it. This is where it would go in, into here. So I brought it. Here's the edge of my normal book page. See how much difference there is between our normal pages in the book. Okay. Let me stand this up and show you. If I were to fold this, see the difference in the book pages? We have that much difference. And I don't particularly like that. If it was just a smidgen, I'd deal with it, but I don't like that much. So, and I know this is the yellow one, but we're going to take the yellow off. So I took a book page, or just a regular coffee dyed piece of paper, and where it folded, where it would normally fold here, I took that fold and I moved it out. I just took a book page. Let me just take one here so it's not as confusing. I took one and I put their spine edges together. See, like that. I laid them in the book. opened them up and said, okay, that's how they would sit. So then I took, this would normally be the spine, and I scooted it out until it was just within maybe 1/4 of an inch of that vintage book page. Right there's the vintage book page. And now I'm going to center it on the height because it is a little bit shorter. Now I'm going to center it on the height. Okay, so right here is where it's going to sit. I still have plenty of room over here, so when I close it, it's not going to interfere. When I open it, I'm going to have a tuck spot in here, and I'm going to fold this in, and I'm going to have a tuck spot in here. Have I lost you? Okay, let me show you again. Number one thing we're going to do, we're going to cut the doily in half. Step 1, cut the doily in half. Step 2, we're going to fold half of the page in half. Okay, let's do it on the yellow polka dots. Okay, I have folded the page and I have cut the page to fit. We're going to fold this page in half, this side of it. It doesn't matter if it's right or left. It truly does not matter. We're going to fold it in half. Okay, actually, let's do it on the other side. I like that even better. We're going to fold a page in half. We're going to fold one of the sides in half. Okay, going to use our bone folder. Okay, and then we're going to fold in. I'm folding in about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, like that much. Just 1/4 of an inch, like that, to get it away from that fold. So now it looks like this. Okay, so I'm going to take this on another page in another signature, and it's going to wrap. This page would go like this. Normally, it would look like this. Okay, well, wouldn't on this one because that we already decorated. Let's find one. And that one we've already decorated. Let's find one we didn't decorate. Okay. Here's one. Normally, it would look like this. Okay. But now, it's going to look different. Now, we're going to take this page this page, this side, this folded side that we did. And we're going to scoot it so that it fits. When we put it around here, oops, wrong way. When we put it around like this, it extends out. We want it to extend out. Hold on, I got it going the wrong way, sorry. Okay, this side will be normal. We're going to flip it over. We'll pull it. We want our page to be bigger. Okay, let's get it back in here. I've just confused myself. Sorry, you guys. I want it to go past this. There, that's what I did wrong. Okay, so I want this. Okay, that has to be sewn in. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? How in the world did I do it on this side and it won't work on that side? What did I do? What in the world did I do, you guys? Okay, hold on a minute. Let me think about this. Hold on a second. Okay, I am so sorry, you guys. I had my page folded wrong. Okay, so you want color to color. And I didn't have it that way. So color to color is what we're looking at. Oh my goodness. Okay. So here's the inside. So you line this up. Put your spines together. And you want to line it up. So you have roughly 1/4 of an inch. And you need to make sure that it is straight on here. And then center it there, like that. Now, after you get it on here, like this, and I'm right-handed. That's the only reason I can do it on the right side right now. I'm right-handed. So once I get it on here, I can paper clip it. Oops. I can paper clip where I want it, like this. Okay, and this side I can fold in and have a fold on this side too if I want. So for this yellow, because I like that, I'm going to do the same on this side, and I'll have a tuck on that side. But this side will be bigger. So this side, I'm going to have a hidden tuck there. I'm going to have a tuck there. When I flip the page, it's going to be expanded. Now this is just one page. This is just one page. When I expand it out, there's only going to be about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to paper clip it there so I glue it in the right spot. There. There's only going to be about 1/4 of an inch between the edges, but I'm going to have a tuck here, a tuck here. Then when I turn the page, I'll just have a tuck here and a tuck here also, okay, on the yellow. And if I want it on the other side, all I have to do for this one is turn it this way, okay? So there's that one. For the red one, because I have this doily that I want to use, I'm going to cut my doily in half. I'm going to wrap this piece around the back. Okay, this piece is going to stay whole. I'm going to wrap the red piece. I have to make sure that this is right. I'm going to wrap the red piece around. So that it sticks out just a little bit. Okay, let's fold this up. Okay, I think I have it upside down again, don't I? Oh my gracious, I cannot figure out what I have done. Okay, this goes here. This goes here. You guys, what have I done? I just did it a second ago. Oh, I hate it when I do silly things like that. Like this. No, that's not what I did. Oh, for gracious sakes, you guys. I know this piece was on top, and it sat there. This piece wrapped around. There we go. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Like that. And I need to tuck it into here. Do you guys ever confuse yourself like that? Oh my goodness. And I need 1/4 of an inch. right there. And then pull it up. Or you do something that you like and then you move your hand and the next thing you know, you can't remember what you did. Oh my heavens. All right, so let me paper clip this into place. And I'm afraid to take it off to cut my doily. Okay, I'm going to leave that paper clipped in place while I cut my doily. Okay, luckily I can slide my doily out. And now I'm just going to cut my doily right on the fold, which will be nice because now we have another piece of doily to play with. There we go. So now we can just glue that right there and we'll have a little tuck right there. So for this, I'm just going to glue it down with a glue stick and I'm going to put this up here out of the way. And I think for that, this will hold it just fine. But I have to be very gentle with it to put glue on it. So I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to do it on the back. And I just want to come right up the edge. And then on this edge, I'm going to go right there. And then because it is going to be used as a pocket, I am going to use the Fabri-Tac on it so I can bring it up just a little bit more. And I'm just going to give it a little bit more glue. But this I can be a little bit more precise with. Now it won't be a big pocket, and it's something we'll have to be gentle with, but it will be something that, you know, kind of fits the era of the 60s, early 60s anyhow. This was the second printing of the book. Okay, so we have to be gentle with this. Let's get this out of the way. And I want this right in the middle. Right there. Let's get our paper towel here. And it always seeps through those little holes a little bit. We can deal with that with our paper towel. Now, I don't want to close that page on it yet because it will stick. Okay, so while we have this here, and I'm going to leave this open, I'm going to glue it as a pocket. That will be a pocket there. So while we have this, let's get this out of our way. We're going to turn this over. Let's make sure we don't have any glue here. And where is it here? We are going to glue this pocket in place while it's in place, so I don't confuse myself again. Okay. Okay, so this piece is going to go here, and since this little piece right here isn't going to get used, I am going to cut it off. Get off of there. Because there's no sense wasting it. And I know I won't be cutting straight, but nope, not at all. And I don't know if you can see my cutting, but that is not straight. Not straight. So we're just going to fold this over a little bit. And this background really that it's on, this red, it's not really a white. It's kind of a yellowish color. It's really pretty. I really like this. Now, put that right there. Now, where's here it is. I want to take this and smush it down real good. Yep, don't go scooting anywhere. And we're going to put a little bit of this glue under here. to hold that fold down. Just a smidgen, like this. Okay, and then we're going to flip this over. Now remember, this has to stay extended, so we need to check before we glue it all down that it is still extended. It's still an extended page, and it's right where it needs to be. Okay, here. So let me make sure it's right. It is still where I want it. Yep, right there. Okay. Now when we start decorating a little bit more, we can add lace to this page. We can decorate the page up, any other way that we choose to. Now you don't want to glue past the fold that you've made. Remember, it's still going to fold. It's just going to extend past the fold. Okay. Okay, get off of there. Now, I do need to, I'm not going to use this inside there, but I do need to, where did it go? Where did my paper towel go? I do need to wipe that off. And right in here, I'm going to stick a little bit of glue right there. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same up here. Oh, nope, it's squirted in there. Okay, I don't need to. Now over here, we're going to glue down up here too. Okay, so we're going to lift this up. And we're going to just glue all the way across. And I'm just going to use this Barely Art glue on this side. And I'm using Barely Art on this side because it's not extended. And before I glue it down, I am going to, okay, there's that one. And here's this one. Okay, now where's my paper punch? I want to put a little notch so that we remember that it is a pocket. Okay, so I've got my paper punch and my corner rounder in case we decide to round some corners on these. I've also got out my lace and my ribbons in case we decide that we want to do some of that. So I think we're going to go right there. And we're going to bring this over like that. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Here we go. So this page now is within reason of this page. Right here. Here. Can you see? There we go. Now we're going to do the same with the yellow, and we're going to do the same with most of the other pages. So this one, if you'll remember, is going to be the double tucks. And if we do decide to fold it another way, now this one didn't have any type of doily on it. We can flip it this way. And let's see here. If we do it this way, we can kind of have the same thing when we extend it out. That's what I was trying to do, and I totally confused myself. Center it on our page. I don't know why in the world I could not remember how I did that. Okay. Okay, now let me get the page we're measuring off of and see how far out we are. Because we can come back and choose, you know, where these colors best fit. And there we go. So let's get this one glued down. And again, we can cut off this here on the inside. But you know what? I think before we do that, let's glue down this side. So let's do our paper punch. And I think, what do you think? Think we went around those corners? Nah, I think with that ziggity zaggity, we don't. But you know what I do want to put on this? Because of the ziggity zaggity on there. Oh, that's not the box I wanted. That box of, here it is. The box of, you know, extra pieces that I showed you guys. You know, I'm always telling you that I save the extra pieces like this. I think this is the perfect page to add some of those, you know, because it's got the ziggity zags on it. And by the ziggity zags, I mean pages that I've sewn on, or, you know, fun pages like that to decorate with. You know, being a kid's book, you know, you just pull these out that have the colors, that have the, like this one has the gold. But I think that's too much gold. That looks like a kid's painting. That looks like a piece of a kid's artwork. You know, and these are all just from, oh, now see, that looks like a piece of kids' artwork that we could tear from. You know how kids are free. You know, have you ever noticed that kids, they just don't pay attention. They have fun when they create and paint, and they just have fun. They just go to town. They're not worried about following the rules. They're not worried about, does it look nice? It's when they get older that, you know, they start worrying. That one does too. But I think I like the yellow. I think I like the yellow the best. The yellow or that one, I think would be the best in this book. Being a kid's book, I think one of these would be the best. And what I would do with it is I would put it like this and wrap it around to get some on both sides of it. Like that. Yeah, I think I like that. So let's get this pressed down. Let me get this down here. Let me use my bone folder to really get it pressed down. And this is just canvas, a piece of canvas, you know, that I cut off. Okay, and I think it's going to go right up here, kind of up here in the middle. No, I don't think I like it in the middle. I think I like it down there. Yeah, that's not going to interfere with that. So good. Okay, so let's go on and take this off. I want to cut this piece off here. You guys don't let me forget how I had that on there, okay? Oh, I already folded that piece down. Well, you know what? We're just going to have to fold the other piece down. I already have an idea for this piece I'm cutting off, so it'll be all right. I already have an idea for that piece, so. All right, so let's fold our edge down here. Again, it's about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. I think I'm going to use Barely Art on it this time. Let's see if we can get it to glue down a little faster. Ooh, my hands still have glue on them. Let's see. That's better. Now it's gluing down. Perfect. All right, let's open this up. Okay, I don't want the ink. I want this open. And I'm going to run glue right across here. Actually, I can probably go on and do it all the way across on both sides. Just like that. Now I just stuck my hand in it. I have to remember that that is going to extend out about that far. Okay. Now, let's get our piece. Okay. And for this, because this is canvas, we're really going to have to glue this good. Glue it up, put a lot of glue on it, and then probably put a clamp on it. Or a lot of paper clips to hold it down. Yeah, this is why I save these for things like this. And then when we come back to these pages, you know, we've already got them started. Or we don't have to add any more to them or not, or, you know, totally up to us. But this book will be sold. So, it's, you know, it's going to be up to somebody else to, if they want to add more to it or if they're happy with the way it is. Totally up to them. But we will do a flip through, see if we need anything else on it. Right there. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this painting. This was fun. This was it was a mixed media painting that I did. All right, so we're going to put a couple of paper clips on here to hold this down, keep it from wandering. There we go. And you know what we should have done? Did we? Yeah, we did. Okay. And I don't know why paper towel is stuck to this, but okay. We're done with that. Okay, so we'll pick the best place for the yellow, and we'll pick the best place for the red. You know, where the red's going to go. They won't go in, you know, in the same spot, of course. Okay, so then I thought the next way we could do it is by adding some lace or some ribbons. So again, it's going to be, it's the same distance. You know, it's still the same distance, which gives us the opportunity to really play with some of our fancy, you know, fancy things that we don't normally get to play with because, well, they're so big. So I have this. This reminded me of, let me show you the page in here, in the little book. This reminded me of this laying down like this, it reminded me of on a little path that this little guy right here, this little guy, 1, 2, 3, would have walked to get down to the fishing hole. And I thought the page that would be facing him, maybe we would do something with this on it, and then maybe add some little charms or some stickers or stencils or something that had, you know, children. I think it's a stencil of, you know, of children fishing and camping and things like that. I thought we would put that on the page that faces that. So I thought on the page that that we're going to put facing this, we would use this. So we just need to find a page. And let's see, that page is decorated there. So I was kind of thinking one of these lighter ones. And we can always fold them the other direction. So whatever's going to be facing like that. And then put this, so this goes to the edge. Oh, and I just dropped it on the floor. So, and then we'll put something underneath it because it's so sheer. So let's cut it. Oh, come here, you silly thing. Of course it's a big roll, you guys. Okay, so underneath it, I have, is this the one? Yep. I have just plain, it's got a little bit of a sparkle to it, but not a sparkle enough. So let's see. He's got on a little green jacket. Well, you know what? I have that in green. Let's see how green looks. Oh, I think I kind of like the green better. All right, so let's cut a piece of green. Oh, yeah, I like the green better. Let's cut a piece of green. There we go. I like the green better. We'll save that for later. Okay, so let me mark here. Let me get this piece in here. And let's mark right there. So where's my pencil here? So let me just put a little tick mark right here and right here so I can line them up. Now, I think underneath them, that little sparkly burlap that I just showed you would look really nice. See, this has a little bit of a, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it on this side maybe? It's got just a tiny little piece of a sparkle in it. Like that. Underneath it. And I thought that would look nice, and it would give us something to hang any type of little charm off of that I can find in my charms. I'm thinking I might have a little fish or something that I can put on there. And I'll get out my sticky notes, you know, and make notes as to where all this stuff goes. Okay. Now, where did our little... Here, we'll just use our glue book for this. Okay. Let's just use our glue book. Because the first thing we want to do is we want to glue the green to the brown. So let's put that here. And I'm thinking this might be the best. Huh. Oh no. I just don't know, you guys. Okay, I'm thinking I'll start with this. And then we'll add, that'll give me the quick hold. And then I'll add this also. Well, come on. We'll add this. It's some of the major intersections here. Okay, you're going to have to share. Okay, I need to clean this off so I can get a nice small bead on it. Especially over here on the edges. Got to make sure those edges are down. Okay. I'm going to have to let this sit out for a minute to dry before we, well, I guess we could put it on the page and just not. Here we go. Okay, so now let's take our sticky side of this and put it on here. Just like that. And now we've got stickied on a little bit more sticky. Just like that. Now we know it's going to stick. Yeah. I hope it sticks. Got enough glue on it. Let's get it all pushed in. Okay. Now we're going to put it on the page. We're going to line it up here. Move our glue book. Okay, you close. Okay, so I'm going to put a bead of glue. See our little tick marks that we put? I'm going to run a bead of glue. I'm going to try as straight as I can down to our tick marks and over. And then I'm just going to fill in. And some of the glue has already gone through to the back, but that's okay. And I'm just going to fill in. And then I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to smush it out. And I don't want it to go past those little tick marks, but I do want it to come over to the edges of the page, like that. So then I'm going to take the ribbon that we've created, and I'm going to line it up so that the brown right there lays right there on those tick marks. And then I'm going to push it in. And since I do have a minute to scooch, I want to scooch it up just a little bit. Come on. Scoochy scoochies. Scoochy scoochies. There we go. And I like that kind of hangs off a little bit. Let's make sure everything's down where it needs to go. And we're going to let this sit and dry. We're going to make sure we don't put this page in the book until it dries. Okay. So I am going to take a scrap piece of paper. Here, we're going to use a scrap piece of envelope right here, and we're going to write on it 1, 2, 3 page. And then we're going to paper clip it on here. And that will remind me when it's time to stencil, that's the page that gets those stenciled. Okay, there we go. So we're going to let this dry. Okay, this was for our cover. So we can go on and cut this out. And I can put a label on it. Okay, well, I need to cut it out first. There we go. Let's see how dry it is. Oh, yeah, it's good and dry. Now, for the cover, I want to try and doesn't really Doesn't really punch very well. But let's see how well we can fray some threads. That's about as good as it's going to let me do it. Okay, so I want to maybe round them with the scissors. Let's try it this way. That's better. Now they match. Now let's cut this piece off. And straighten that piece up. Okay, now let's put this in the cover, and then we'll go on and glue on the corners. So that's going to go there. Okay, we need to trim this piece off here. That's sticking out. Oh, we're going to have to trim this. What? Oops. Okay. Okay, right there. All right, let's get that off of there. Okay, let's make sure where we glued down. Everything is down. Okay, everything is down. Let's find the top. Okay. Oh, well, we just did that backwards because our bird was upside down. Silly bird. Okay. We'll cut a little bit that time. Let's try. Oh, cut much better. Maybe the trick is having more paper and less fabric. Okay, so before we glue that in, let's decide which corner we're going to put on. Okay, so let's look here on the front. So I have bronze. No, I don't like the silver, so I guess it's going to be... And I have that color. I have the gold. I don't particularly like the gold, although it's not bad. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to have to put some glue in there because that's coming apart. Okay, I think that one. Let's see here. Oh, I also have that in plain. Okay, they're too big. Let's see what we have here. Now, see, these are rounded. No, they're too big. Okay, the rounded's too big. And there's 4. Let's just go with those. Okay, we're just going to go with those. I could play with these things all day. Okay. Now, let me stick some glue up in here where that is coming apart. hold that together there a little bit better. Let's make sure that's going to protect that really well. Okay, let's check these. Oh yeah, this one needs it too. Well, that's what happens when a book is loved by children, isn't it? Yeah, I should have checked these earlier to make sure they were ready to roll. Yeah, and like I've told you before, old books, you never know where they're stored. Yeah. You know, or how they're cared for. And kids love their books when they're little. Kids just love them. My son loved his books. And I'm sure when I get up in the attic to look at his, well, right now they're being stored in an airtight container, but I'm sure when he's ready for them, when he has kids, that they're not going to be in the best shape. I know one of his favorite books is probably not in the best shape because he took that book everywhere. And we've actually had to replace it. When he was little, we had to buy him like 2 or 3 copies of it because he would destroy them. He would leave them in restaurants. He would drop them in the bathtub. And he was just a little guy, but he'd be like, oh my gracious. You know, and try to tell a 3-year-old they can't take their favorite book with them. You know, to church, to a restaurant, even in the bathtub. I dare you. There. Now let's make sure everything else is down. Okay, those are down. All right, let's get this cleaned off. Now, let's make sure that this is going to be long enough that these smaller ones, before we glue it down, that these smaller ones are going to cover it. Oops. But they're not going to be a problem here. And again, I have the bird upside down, I do believe. Yes, I do. Okay, where's the other ones at? No, it needs to be longer. Okay, so we're going to have to do another longer piece. So let's grab another piece here. And I think this time we're just going to do the fabric. We're not going to make it a pocket. We're just going to do the fabric. All right, so we're going to cut the fabric the same width. But we're not going to make it a pocket. We'll save this to use as a pocket. Okay, that needs to be straightened up. As the more I think about using that as a pocket, the more I think we're asking for trouble. Ooh, I just love the sound of ripping fabric. Okay. All right, let's just get a little piece off of here. My favorite little print in the whole piece of fabric is that little flower and that little bird in the whole piece of fabric. Oh, I didn't cut a snippet big enough. I actually made a journal with this fabric as the cover. There we go. Much better. And I'm thinking we might have to go with those wider ones, you guys, to protect these corners better. Come on, glue. Gurgle your way out of there. Now, as you can tell, I didn't go as completely as wide as our torn area. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to overwhelm this piece of fabric. And if I have to go more glue, then I will go more glue. But if it's going to spread out on its own, then that's what I want it to do. And when I need to put down more glue, I can do that. There. But I want to do it after I get this down. There we go. And I think we're going to have to use those bigger corners. I don't think those little ones are going to protect this very well. Okay, now we can put the rest of the glue down. Okay, so let's go on and get out our wider corners that we had. It wasn't these, it was those. And I will show you how to put those on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, to put these on, it's simple to do. Put that up there. Basically, you choose the one you want, and you make sure that it fits your corner. You want to make sure that you don't have any threads. We use these smaller scissors for this. You want to make sure you don't have any threads, hanging out. And I use these to crimp them closed. They're just my little flat-nosed pliers that I use for jewelry. And I make sure that they fit over whatever it is I have on the board, whether it's fabric, paper, whatever. So I make sure everything fits. And so you can see that this here is a little ruffled, but we're going to take care of that with a little bit of lace. Okay, that'll get taken care of right there. And then this is my main concern right here. So you take this, and I use Fabri-Tac. You can use any kind of, it needs to be a strong glue. It needs to be a really strong glue. And I put some down on both sides like that. Like they have little wells down the sides. I put some on both sides. Here, I'll show you on the back. It'll be easier to see. And then you position it like that, so that the decorative part is facing up, and you push it all the way in with your finger and flat down. Okay, and the glue is going to squirt out. It just happens. And then you take a paper towel, a piece of fabric, and you put it behind it. And I take this and I squish this down all the way into the book. All the way down. Whoops. Didn't go in all the way. Come on. There we go. And I just squish it down flat. Okay. And then I come in and I wipe it off. Now, any Fabri-Tac that you have gotten on this, you're going to take, after it dries, you're going to take some, and I always get it on it. Afterwards, I come back with some alcohol on a Q-tip, and I clean it off, being very, very careful. The first thing I do to clean it off is I take my fingers, and it just rolls right off, like that. Anything left, I will take the alcohol. See, there's quite a bit here. So I'll work with it. I'll make sure it's down. And I've got glue on my fingers too. And then I'll take some alcohol to this here in a little bit. And anything that's left on it, I know right now it's a mess. Don't panic. Anything that's left, I'll come in and I'll wipe off. Okay, this little corner right here isn't down all the way. So just very gently squish them down. Okay, and you do that to all 4 of them. Let me clean this off. Okay. Nope, I didn't get it down there in the middle. There. Now you have to make sure that it stays down against the back of the book, against this part, and it's all the way up. Like that. And all the way up. And you can start with your fingers to make sure, and then come back in with this. Most of them you can push with your fingers. Those smaller ones that we had, I can push with my fingers. These bigger ones, I cannot. But you have to be gentle. Especially with these old books. The newer books, I'm not very gentle with them. I squeeze the daylights out of them. There. And again, I've got glue on it, but I'll come in and I'll clean them up. Okay? Now for these, I think I'm going to go on and put my lace here before I put them on. Let me find what I had out. Here it is, right here. I want to put, I want to see if it'll work first. I want to put this lace in here, and I want to make sure that this isn't going to be in the way. Okay, it's not. But I also want to put this on the front. I want this to go here on the front. But if I do that, I can't get those on there. This is what I'm looking at. If I put this on the outside, I can't put the book cover over top of it. Okay, so that means I have to wrap something around it. So, okay, let's take this little piece of fabric. And we're going to cut it to the length, and we're going to wrap it around the edge. Okay, I don't want to cover up the title. And then I can put my lace on. I can go like this and protect the edge of it maybe a little bit more. Like that. And then I can put my lace on. Okay. Okay. That'll protect the edge of it from whoever's going to own it. The edge won't get frayed and torn. Okay. Let me turn this over. I know I haven't trimmed it. I will. I just want to get it secured first. Okay. Right there. Okay. Then when I put the book cover on, it'll protect it. Okay. Or I mean the corner. It'll protect it. But the top really doesn't get any wear and tear. And the closure is going to be just ribbons wrapped around it. But I do think on the spine, we are going to punch through the spine for a removable spine dangle. Okay, so I want to make sure that we don't cover up the title. Like that. There we go. And I do need to make sure that this is trimmed off all the way. So let's get this trimmed. There. Because the edges get handled a lot. Okay, you lay flat. There we go. Just like that. Now this can go like this. And then those corner edges will catch the edge of it. Or those corners will catch the edge of that. Okay, so let's cut this. Well, I'm trying to cut it. Okay, let's get the scissors out of my way here. Okay, I want this right here. And we're going to take this right up this little piece of fabric. Okay. Let's see. Where's the front? Well, that is a very good question. That is a really good question. I'm gonna guess that. Okay, I'm just gonna guess that this is the front. And we're gonna bring it right down there. There we go. And then we're gonna let everything dry until the next time. And I will continue working on our extended pages for you guys. Okay, so that is how you add book corners. And I would like to say thank you to all of our new subscribers for just coming and joining our family here at the Ladybug Journals. It's so very nice to have you here. And for all the current subscribers that have been hanging out with us, hi and hello and welcome. It's so good to have you back with us. I hope everybody's having fun with this new series that we've got going here on Tuesdays. I hope you're enjoying yourself and you're crafting along and creating your own little book for somebody special, because they are a lot of fun, or even for yourself. I love making these little books. They're always so much fun. And they, you know what? I tell you what, they do bring back memories of, when we were kids and we read these little books. I actually had a commission on a book last summer that I did for a little girl for her birthday, and I had her aunt tell me she loved it, and her parents loved it. They had a ball sitting down and reading the book, and so that always makes me happy when people tell me things like that. So that was fun. It was fun doing that. Okay, so let's get this one clamped. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget that you can share and you can like and leave a comment on any of the videos that we put out here at the Ladybug Journals. I always make it sound like there's a whole slew of us. It's only me. It is only me. Okay. And a reminder to all of my current subscribers, you guys can too. You know that. You know you can do that. You can do that on any one of them. You can share them with your friends, invite your friends over. You guys can have a little watch party. Heck, call them up on the phone and say, did you see how she did that? And you all can go, yeah, I don't know why she did it that way. And you know what? I'd be saying the same thing. I have no idea why I did it that way. And sometimes after I get done filming, I go, I have no idea why I did it that way. So it is nothing new, you guys. Nothing new at all. Okay, so let's get this one clamped down. So let me get this clamped down and then we'll call it a day. We're going to let everything dry. And as I said, I'll continue working on our page extensions. And when I see you again, all this messy glue will be all cleaned up. There we go. I don't think I like that. I think we're going to have to do something about that. I think we'll have to do something about that. Like right now, maybe. I don't like that flopping around. And so until I see you again in our next fun little video, ta-ta for now.